Little usual audio check. Someone just confirm me on the audio. Audio check in the chat, please. Audio good. Thank you. Thank you. Bear with me 1 second. Just queuing up some things. Man, that sucked. What a tease. What a tease. A little bit of a tease there tonight by the boys, but it happens. Let me just get to this. All right. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button. Smash the like right now if you're in here right now. Share with a friend. Thank you very much. And as always, boys, cheers to my Devils fan faithful. Win or lose, we booze. Tonight, we lost a hard-fought contest, a sloppy contest, but the Devils managed to steal a point when all looked grim for a while. Coming back from two different two-goal deficits, I mean, wow. Absolutely not likely to pull the point. Glad we did, but what a sloppy, sloppy game. I mean, wow. A complete slop fest. Everything was sloppy. Let's just... sloppy. Sloppy. Keefe starts off with Cotter, Hughes, Bratt. I like it. That line's first shift. They generated a lot of pressure early on. And the New Jersey Devils, breaking one of the trends of last season, get on the board first at 4:45 with a nice little just throw it on net from Haula. It seems like this has been a team initiative in the past few games, just throwing pucks on net from everywhere. Haula does just that, kind of right off the board, just flings it in. And 1-0 Devils. But unfortunately, the good times were short-lived as the Caps answered nearly immediately with Tom Wilson's first goal, the game tying it at 1. And then at 10-14, Connor McMichael, and at 14-18, Ovechkin, and kind of in stunning fashion, Devils score the first goal, go up 1-0, and then give up the next 3. Give up the next 3 to go down 3-1 heading into the second. And at that point, I'm not going to lie, I was very discouraged. Getting the first goal, obviously a big initiative for this season, especially after playing from behind, so many games last year. But on home ice to score that first one and then just kind of get rolled over for the rest of the period, that kind of sucked. And, with 2 periods to go, I thought they had a chance of fighting back. And they did just that in the second period in way quicker fashion than I could have imagined. Our boy Nico gets 10 seconds apart at 34 seconds and 44 seconds, tying it at 3. And at that point, I thought we were going to kind of take over the game. But the Caps were unwavered and just continued on. Mangiapane gets in way too tight on Markstrom. I thought Markey could have poke checked or something there, but he kind of got caught, just pinned. And Mangiapane had all the time in the world, and he just threw the little moves on. And then at the end, Markstrom's stick was kind of flailing there, couldn't get it. 4-3 Caps, and then Strome makes it 5-3 a few minutes later. Caps up 5-3 going into the third. And now you're like, all right, it's not necessarily a miracle, but we need something to go our way. And at 3:39, Mercer rips a beautiful one. Beautiful, beautiful wrister by Mercer, cutting it to 5-4. And then I was like, all right, we got plenty of time left. It was like, I think 16 and change left. And at 12:28 on the power play, we finally saw a Dougie bomb. It looks like he's been very hesitant to shoot this season for some reason. I don't know if that's purposeful or he's really not trying to shoot into people's shin pads or into blocked lanes, whatever it is. But he seems hesitant to let him fly this year for whatever reason. But he got in pretty tight on this one and just let go of that beautiful Dougie bomb that we're all so used to seeing. He lets the Dougie bomb go. takes a weird kind of deflection off of a Capital, gets in the back of the net, tied up at 5. And I just lost my train of thought. Tied up at 5. They had a couple chances. Devils get hit with a late penalty, that Lazar high stick. The boys kill it off, thankfully. I thought at first they were trying to look at the Kovacevic because he was kind of on the wall and the puck went out off his stick. But I don't think that's actually a delay of game penalty. I think he actually has to like shoot it. So I thought that's what they were reviewing, and I think Spalding and Dano thought that as well. But then we see behind the play, Lazar high stick the guy. He takes the penalty, and Devils kill it off. We hold on to squeak out, secure the point, and head to overtime, where overtime was just an absolute barn burner. Back and forth chances. Timo Meier robbed on the doorstep. Dougie had one where he kind of came up the wing and just got off a little backhander. I mean, it was wild and crazy. It was a wild and crazy overtime. Markstrom made a ton of good saves. And then finally, Tom Wilson again. I hate Tom Wilson. My God, do I hate that guy. At 4 minutes, he rips one off the post and in. And terrible way to lose. I thought we were going to see our first shootout of the year. Markstrom, shaky night. Some of the goals were not his fault. I'd have to go back and watch them all in depth, but some of them were his fault. Some of them were, again, sloppy defensive play in our own end, failing to clear the puck. I think it was the first goal maybe that, Jack was kind of right in there. I think it was the first goal where he had a chance to kind of get the puck, and everyone's just very timid. Like, they have to play with a little more aggression, I think, especially in our own end at times, because we've seen this now for a few games in the losses specifically, where we just can't get the puck out, and the other teams just, are in the zone for a minute, and you're like, my God, they're just flinging it from everywhere, and then you're like, at some point, it's just going to go in, and you feel it, and you start to feel it. Really unfortunate the way the game played out. Obviously, I'm thrilled to secure a point, obviously, but a win would have been nice. But Markstrom, definitely a bad night for Markstrom, and they're going to happen. Like I said, he's not going to, every game's not going to be a stellar game from him. We've gotten 2 in a row, and now tonight I'd have to look back to see if I would classify it as just not a good game or if it was an absolute stinker. But the D in front of him, very sloppy, and it was kind of, it was one of those games, again, where this team thus far on the young season has seemed to have difficulty kind of playing at the top of their game consistently. We see it in flashes. We see it in, throughout different points of each game. And the Devils started to come on great in the third and in overtime. But unfortunately, there was a lot of sloppiness leading up to that. And, another win kind of escapes us. The win escaped us. We get the point. I'm thrilled with the point. Cheers to my Devils fans. I'm going to get to the chat in a second. If you haven't seen or heard already, the first run-in with the Devils release, heavier, edgier, more violent. We got the little logo on the sleeve there. I think there might be 1 or 2 hoodies left. The hoodies, I believe, are almost sold out. I'll drop the link in here. Thank you for everyone who ordered. Your orders will ship Monday. You will all get a tracking number. I'll be packing those up probably for a while tomorrow. But thank you to all that ordered. Yeah, there's still some T-shirts left, and I think some hoodies. And to anyone who emailed me about it, I said the last time, if you're a big boy, as we said, or a small boy, if you haven't emailed me, you can. There's a few people who I said, I don't want them to be left out because I didn't have the foresight to get super small or super big sizes. So for a few of you that emailed me, I will be answering emails later tonight, and I'm not ignoring you. My apologies. It's been a crazy day or so. So I'll answer all those emails tonight. Everyone who ordered, you'll get your tracking number on Monday. Thank you. A couple more on the thing. Drop the links in the site. And yeah, I mean, wow. It sucks. It sucks to lose, but the fact that we were able to get a point out of tonight, I think, kind of speaks to the testament of at least this heavier, edgier, more violent, new look New Jersey Devils, because I think most of us would agree after the first period, the last year's team would have just wilted and died. After 3-1, after 1, it would have been a wrap. Not to mention, even if they were able to come back from 3-1, once we went down by 2 again at 5-3, that team probably wouldn't have come back either. So this team does have some resiliency. They do have some, fight in them. We saw Stefan Nason with the fisticuffs. Wasn't a great outing. He lost his footing and kind of slipped. So, a less than stellar fight for Stefan Nason, but you love to see it. Someone crushed Kovacevic, and Kovacevic is usually the guy to bring the opposition to task for a hit. This time Kovacevic was on the receiving end of the hit. And Stefan Nason was like, no problem. I'll handle this business. And he came right over, and we had us a little bout. A little bout indeed, but wow. Yeah, it just sucks, guys. I'm a little stunned. I really did think that after we came back the second time, it would have been great to get the win. But let's see what you guys are talking about. We look like the defense is rough, and Palat at this point, when Luke and Pesci come back, just take Palat out and play a defender at forward. Oh, boy. Oh, you boys were in here early. There's Dougie. There's from Louis during the Dougie bomb. They got a point. That's huge, obviously. Yes. Trash game. I agree. Traveling Devil. So many opportunities is right. It's a shame we could not bury one. Obviously, the silver lining, Ron. There was a point. Absolutely. Way better than losing in regulation and getting nothing. Brendan, I'm going to be so honest. Marsham shit the big. Yeah, it was a bad game for him. It was, but, the team played bad as well. And so for me, I'm not going to let Markstrom off the hook, but, the team just was kind of flat for too long of stretches, in my opinion. And we got pinned in our own end again tonight there was a couple shifts that the Caps had where I was like, my God, it kind of looked like a power play at even strength. And it was tragic. It looked like it was a goal to me. They didn't show the top view, but I'm like 90% sure it passed the line. I didn't think it did. Spalding on TV was convinced that it was a goal. And I was like, well, what did I miss? I did not see the definitive, that was a goal kind of angle, but Spalding was like, oh yeah, that's going to count. And I'm like, are we watching the same thing? I definitely didn't see that, but it was very close. I just didn't see any angles where it looked like the puck is definitely in. Demo, we conceded a lot of goals. We came back twice. Is it half a win? Yes, literally it is. Am I happy? Somewhat. There's a curse looming above us when the Caps come to the Rocks since last season. Well, I think to your point, in terms of points, it's half a win. And the fact, like you pointed out, that, this team is not folding up and dying like last year's team. It's absolutely refreshing to see that there is fight back, right? Both physically and on the scoreboard, that when they're down 2, it's never over. Furthermore, they came back from 2 twice. So there's like a little bit of a silver lining, but obviously we would have liked to see a win. We did not, but we got the point. Can we trade Palat for Trouba and call it a night? I hate Trouba. I honestly hate Trouba. Serve. Rewatch like 2 or 3 of the goals. Jack was out on the ice playing soft. Listen, guys, it's going to take some time. Hopefully all these other guys rub off on him. Jack is a, elite playmaking center, a finesse guy, if you will. But there was a couple of plays where I was like, yeah, like a little more of a fight would have been nice there. But, that's a characteristic that's common of a lot of guys that are in that kind of skill level, that you're not going to see the fight or the tenacity in the one-on-one battles and loose pucks. Why the hell is Jack barely on the ice in OT? He got in there, but then Nico stayed out because I think there was a defensive zone faceoff. And so, and with Washington having the puck in overtime for the first minute and a half, we were kind of on our heels because they won the draw in overtime, and then we didn't even touch it for a very long time into the overtime. And so overall, just not the greatest night, obviously, in a lot of categories, but still nice to see them fight back and get a point. If it wasn't for Nico tonight, we wouldn't have been in this game at all. Nico with just 2 beautiful finishes in tight. Nico's shot, I think, is so underrated, especially in tight. He just gets it right into tight windows and just boop, quick roofers. Nico definitely has a little snipe of a shot, especially in close. And that assist, that pass to Dawson was beautiful too. He had someone converging on him coming up the wing, and he just played it beautifully. What a great pass from Nico. 3-point night for Mr. Hischauza. 10 in chat, only 5 likes. Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man. Come on, man. Can we hit those thumbs up, guys? It costs nothing and half a second of your time. Thank you very much. Nico and Jack together, not Mercer in that spot. Ron, it just drives me insane that the team goes 99% of the way and finishes with the stick check, just sending the puck to the other opponent. There's a lot of plays where I was like, so close to getting it out of the zone, and we just couldn't, and then it just leads to a goal. Tonight was a sloppy one. I think Keefe should probably bag skate them tomorrow because it was bad. Dougie scored, but they got us Dougie style at the end. I actually thought Nemitz and Siegs played good tonight. Nemitz, I don't know. I think he's firmly now been leapfrogged or leapt-frogged. Would leapt-frogged be the past tense of leapfrog? I'm not an English major. I'll have to ask some of my smart friends. But I firmly believe now that Nemitz is the odd guy out on the right side. I mean, there's just no way Kovacevic comes out. I think it's going to have to be Nemitz. And then I do think it will be Seamus Casey. Obviously, Sheldon Keefe was really limiting his ice tonight because that big, heavy Capitals team was giving us trouble, especially in our own end. And so, Casey didn't get a lot of playing time. I'm just trying to see here. What did he play? Let's see. Seamus Casey. What is wrong with this website? Yeah, Seamus Casey with 7 minutes and 35 seconds tonight. I'd imagine that's his season low. Very, very limited ice time. And you saw Siegenthaler out there. I believe he was with he with Nemitz? Yeah, he was with Nemitz, and he also was with Kovacevic a lot as well. So that I think that's fairly telling. The fact that Sheldon Keefe thought he had to shield him kind of in this game, I think tells you a lot. I didn't like Hughes' game at all. I mean, he generated some chances, but defensively, I thought he, did not have his finest hour. I think we know why Kovacevic makes league minimum. He's a really good 7 or bottom pair. I think he's a legitimate, NHL defenseman. The whole team was bad. Kovacevic played good. Timo almost lost the game for us even earlier. Just gave it to a cap right in front of our own net. Timo, I thought, had a couple sloppy plays tonight. And I really wish he could have finished it off, though. He was right there on the doorstep, and I really thought he was going to finish it for us there in overtime, but it wasn't meant to be. Thompson got lucky, I think. I don't even know if he saw that shot. It would have been nice if Timo, Jack, or Brat could have potted one of those. Timo got points elsewhere, though, but they make a lot of money for a reason. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, right? When you make almost $9 million, we're looking for that, 40 goals, 80 points kind of stat line from Timo when it's all said and done. But again, slow start kind of for the whole top six. But Nico with a beautiful outing tonight. I don't mind Jack's game if Brat would start burying some of those chances. Yeah, Brat seems to have had now in the past few games some quality ones that he just couldn't finish. Steven Engel knew we would lose, called it before the game, but we won in their place. They've us in ours. So this is your fault, Steven? You jinxed us? Demo, don't sound the alarm yet, people. Relax. It's the start of the season. We are 2 defensemen down. We got a point out of it. Chill out. And it will be interesting to see what the exact kind of timetable for when we do see Luke Hughes or Brett Pesce, what the, kind of timetable will be for them to kind of get up to full game speed and be used to the system and playing in NHL games. But obviously, it should be a net benefit to the defense, right? We saw Casey tonight getting shielded. He only got 7 minutes. Siegenthaler getting extra work as a result. With Pesce and his veteran experience and what Luke brings, the defense should get better too. And again, we're talking about, game 8, right? I mean, game 8, and it sucks. I want to win every game too. But to be 5-2-1, especially the way tonight kind of played out, I'm thrilled with it. Hoping for a better outing next game. Steven Engel, we suck. Season's over. Timo had 3 points tonight. Yeah, I was talking about defensively. Some less than stellar plays. I just lost my screen here. Did you guys see Paul Cotter letting the bodies hit the floor, though? Paul Cotter was smashing people kind of off camera, like all game, just burying people. Man, I love Paul Cotter. He just He just doesn't give up. He's crushing people everywhere. Paul Cotter is just a beautiful, beautiful hockey player. Complete throwback, and he just smashes people. Smashing people everywhere at any time. Kovacevic was not good. He got caught leading to odd man rushes. Yeah, that's a good point, Traveling Devils. 17 shots on goal in the first. Like, that's not you don't want to see that. I forget what game was it, the Utah game? We only allowed 20 shots the whole game. And tonight the Caps get 17 in the first. Obviously, letting that much rubber on your goalie is never a great formula for wins. And yeah, the Caps were just flinging it tonight. They and credit to them. I mean, they learned a thing or two from the first matchup when we beat them whenever that was a few days ago. And they had 37 shots on goal tonight. I mean, obviously that included probably at least 3 to 5 in overtime, but that's a lot of shots. You gotta do a better job there defensively than allowing all that rubber on net. It was a lot. Couldn't forecheck or get the puck out of the D zone for 2 periods. Yep, we were pinned a lot. Go back and watch the Caps goals, and you'll see what I mean about Jack Hughes plays on them. Yeah, there was some less than stellar defensive efforts by him. I noticed that as well, but I don't want to come on here and just be all negative. I'm happy to have the point. But very sloppy first 2 periods. Yeah, so sloppy, but completely controlled the third. The third period was the kind of wake-up call for us. Like, all right, we're down 2. We got to get back in here, and they did. I'm just scanning the chat here. At least the Flyers and Hurricanes lost tonight. And that's always good. Man, I hate that. My hatred for the Hurricanes has just really been kind of brewing for a while. I told you guys after we lost them in the 2002 playoffs, I started to hate them. And then the 2009 playoff meltdown, I really hated them. And, they just always seem to have our number, obviously ending our big record-setting season in 22-23. We lost at the hands of the Hurricanes. Not gonna lie. Once they tied it, I'm like, I'll be happy with 1 point. And then when they lost, I was super pissed. Yeah, that's how it goes. I was the same thing. I'm like, oh, just get the point. But then, after it settles in, you're like, all right, now let's get this. I was getting greedy, and I wanted to win it in regulation. I was like, let's just end this right here. I don't want to see overtime. End it in regulation, and send the Caps home with nothing, and we'll take these 2 points. But it wasn't in the cards, and that penalty really kind of hurt our flow. That late penalty. I mean, who knows, right? If that penalty never happened, maybe we could have won it in regulation. But Ron, I'm happy that Keefe is moving lines and pairs around on the spot. I definitely think he's trying to identify weaknesses to fix. Yeah, we saw a lot of different combos tonight, a whole bunch. We saw Cotter reunited with his meat brethren on the meat line with Lazar and Bastion. We saw a couple other odd ones too at different times. There was a whole lot of things thrown out there tonight. It's been our zone where we've struggled. Yeah, just getting a little too fancy and not getting hard on pucks that are like, bouncing around in people's skates. Every time I see like a puck just kind of pinballing around and people just like poking at it. And I think it was the first goal, the one I referenced earlier, when Jack kind of had a chance to break up the play, or at least steal the puck or break up the play, and didn't. And then Dylan was the defender back, and he kind of stepped up for a second. I think he realized he was a little too far out of reach, so he kind of, started just receding a little bit, and then he ended up in the back of the net. It's interesting. They got to clean it up. We could have lost it in third, and we'd leave the arena head low. We put out chin high. Yeah. Palat, I did see that. Palat got some playing time with the big boys for a little bit. Yeah, Jay Snow, this is one of the more shocking stats, I think, on the season on an individual basis for me. I can't believe Jack has 1 goal in 8 games. Neither can I. If someone said through 8 games, what's the least amount of goals Jack could have, I would have probably said 3. 3 through 8 would be like pace for like a 30-ish goal season. Right now, he's on pace for like 10 goals. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But at some point, if this continues, he could basically kiss a 40-goal season goodbye, because he's going to have to start scoring at a crazy rate. I obviously think assuming he's healthy, his basement in any given year should be 30 goals, and he's had chances. But 1 goal through 8 games for Jack, obviously underwhelming. And I don't think most of us anticipated a year like that. And again, it is still early, but it's not that early. You know, you would like to see. Yeah, Jack was a -3 tonight. -3, 3 shots, and a block. Wow. You guys are brutal. I trade Palat for a bag of pucks at this point. Palat is a well-paid liability right now. Man. I think he has a no-trade clause. He does. He certainly has a no-movement clause. Jesper and Jack were cycling the puck good tonight, that I will say. Yeah, that first shift, we had the Capitals pinned, and they were doing their thing. They couldn't finish, but I thought, you know, they're definitely moving the puck around really well, especially on that first shift. And I would like to just see it kind of that line stuck with for some sort of time. But I understand once, you know, we go down 2 goals in a game that Keefe's going to get a little trigger happy and start shuffling things around to try to make something happen. Palat, not a fourth liner. Hey, we're not 0-5 like the Predators. Isn't that one of the craziest? That has to be one of the craziest stories league-wide, honestly, on the season, that the loaded up Predators who went out in free agency and just made it rain are 0-5 after 5 games. I mean, I don't think anyone saw that coming. I certainly did not. I'm still hoping to see them in the Stanley Cup Finals because that's a super easy travel, and I could go to Cup Finals games in Nashville very easily. So I'm still hoping they turn their season around, but I'm not shedding a tear for them with their 0-5 record, with, you know, their free agency load-ups that didn't quite pan out thus far anyway on the young season. But 0-5 is brutal, and at some point I wonder, you know, who they start pointing the finger at. I'm also happy Dougie finally got his bomb one-timer to go, and finally we saw one. He was in super close, too. He let a laser rip. VTech, I mean, Markey was not doing well tonight. Not that the defense gave him a break, but that was what we say for Akira and VTech. Another day, the same play, one would say. It was a bad night for Markey. Lazar is solid. Lazar always gives an effort, so I'm not going to knock. I'm never going to knock Lazar. That penalty sucked, but listen, that's a game the Devils didn't deserve anything. Completely dominated that final period. They need to build on that. Yeah, and hopefully come out in the next one against the Lightning much crisper, much sooner. You know, if we played like we did in the third period for the whole game, the game would be different. But that's, you know, we can't go back in a time machine. Pally is definitely the problem right now. The fourth line is always pinned in our end. Bastion looks like he's walking on ice. Markstrom is killing me with the number of goals he's allowing. Listen, he had a bad game, and hopefully he bounces back. But Jay Snow, Jack definitely played a role in some of those goals against, for sure. Markey is VTech's brother from another mother. Oh, boy. I don't care how bad the D is. 5 goals conceded or 5 goals conceded. Markey's not living up to my expectations right now. I would say he's living up to mine. You know, he has 3 wins, and he literally was the only reason we were in that Carolina game. We should have been blown out in that game. But yeah, tonight was sloppy. Obviously, we hope that these types of starts are few and far between, because giving up a 5 spot, like you said, is a guaranteed loss on most nights. Tonight it was almost a night where you could win with that. But yeah, Igor led in 5 this season too. You can't kill him for grade A chances and deflections. Yeah, I thought that even that last one he could have probably had, but you know, again, got to stop the puck. Got to stop the puck. It was a bad game for Markstrom, but he got no help. We fight another day. Markstrom let in some weak shit, but that wasn't all his fault. I agree there. 17 goals allowed in 6 games is a lot. Yes, goals against is right now. As of right now, Markstrom's goals against is 2.99 with a .902 save percentage. But I feel like the worst games the Devils played, honestly, were in front of Markstrom, for whatever reason. And also, Markstrom tonight was really, in my opinion, channeling his inner Martin Brodeur. How many times did he come out of like far out of the net and, was playing the puck a lot? A couple times he gave me a heart attack. Very active puck playing tonight from Jacob Markstrom. What's up with the hat? Looks like a helmet on you. No disrespect. I don't know. It was a little cold, and I love this hat. I just saw it and grabbed it. You don't like this hat? I like this hat. Devils stole a point from a game that should have been just a straight win if the effort level matched the talent disparity between the Devils and Caps. They're a big, heavy team, man, and they gave us a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Vanacek would have blown the comeback just like he did last year. I mean, Vanacek, he's on to he's chilling in the California sun now with our boy Mackenzie Blackwood. Tonight was Nico reminding everyone, hey, I'm a star player too. Yeah, absolutely. 2 beautiful goals and a really, really nice assist. Roller coaster up, Zach. Roller coaster of a game. Thanks, Nico, for allowing the team to get a point. Yeah, he basically willed us to that point, in my opinion. Team had a good effort, but can't win them all. Next game is against Tampa, a huge test. Yeah, obviously Tampa is a team that's been there before. Championship, cup winners on the team, one of the best goalies in the league in net. And anytime you go up against one of the marquee goalies like Vasilevsky, obviously it's a test. And hopefully the Devils find a way to put some pucks past them. I'm curious now if we see Jake Allen. Let me just take a look at the schedule here because I know we have – I think we're going to see Jake Allen pretty soon. Jake Allen looking to go 3-0 on the season. So we have Tuesday at home, Thursday away, and Friday Islanders. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this gets played. I'm assuming we're going to see Markey again Tuesday, and then probably Jake Allen on the road Thursday at Detroit, and then back to Markey on Friday night at home against the Islanders. Nico was an angel of God with a flaming sword in his hand, and he scored justice tonight. Oh, man. Coach Keefe is not happy. I actually jumped on here before he talked, so I'll be watching his post-game press conference when I get off here. I'm assuming he wasn't going to be happy because there was, outside of basically getting a point that we had no business getting, there was not much to be happy about from tonight's game. The pass from Nico is far more impressive than Mercer's shot. Both good, though. Yeah, the pass was sick. Beautiful pass. Jack Hughes even playing like he is still on pace to lap Kako. Let's not get crazy in here. Well, that's setting the bar pretty low. Jeff, what's up, boys? What's going on, Jeff? Every Dougie goal will be dubbed as the Dougie style. I hate losing, guys. I honestly hate losing. Dougie bomb was nice to see. Absolutely. PK has been solid. How do you make a line change in OT without possession? I think Nico was dying. I think he was out there for a while, and I think he was absolutely gassed and thought he could get away with it. Thought he could get away with a quick one. What's going on, Val? I hate Tom Wilson, too. What is it about that guy? Markstrom had a bad game. I just have always hated Tom Wilson. He's just one of those guys, like a lot of fan bases hate him, and you know, he had a huge game tonight against the Devils. You hate to see it. Like, I was hoping Dylan was going to fight him. They were having some words in front of Markstrom at one point, and I thought there was a chance that maybe we'd see it later, but maybe it was just some more friendly stuff. Ace is our ambassador to the Rock. Knock the glass while being there and ask Keefe when Pesci is going to be coming to play. So Luke and Pesci, I think, were both on the ice in contact jerseys today. I saw that earlier, but that doesn't mean much to me. Nothing means anything to me until I see them, I guess, take warm-ups. Then I'll believe they're playing, because I don't think they would be taking warm-ups if they're not going to play. When I see one of them take warm-ups, I will believe that we will see them play in a game. And again, it could be next week. It could be 2 weeks. Your guess is as good as mine. The organization is very cryptic with these injuries. Cap stalling in OT was pissing me off. It used to piss me off more, but now it's basically what every team does. I don't like it, and I do think it's kind of boring to see that, but every team kind of does that. They play this puck possession game, and you'll see them constantly pass backwards and pass amongst each other to get changes. It's kind of corny, but I understand why they do it. But yeah, they had it for like 2 minutes before we even touched the puck. Sammy, Keefe calling out the effort. Okay, so I guess he does get a little testy in the post-game press conference, as you should. Let's give Jake Allen another chance. He's going to have another chance in the next week, or the next, 4 or 5 days. When Stammer came into the league, TB forced him to be bigger and stronger. The Devils need to get Jack to 200 pounds. He's got made bread. Get him a chef and a trainer. I don't know if Jack could ever get to 200 pounds. What do they have him listed at? I honestly think whatever they have him listed at is probably rounded up as well. He's listed at 175. I mean, that might be generous if we're being honest. Jack is garbage. Horrible change by Nico. I mean, come on, Art. He's not garbage. It was a stinker. Country club atmosphere strikes again with yet another slow start. It's possible. I mean, it was definitely a slow start. I don't know if it's a country club atmosphere or people just not. It is just crazy how you could look so good one game and so bad another, but that's sports, right? I mean, it happens in every sport. Keefe's got the chance of a lifetime having this roster of players. He has to play them right. There is some fault on his part. Well, what didn't you like, Demo? What would you have? What is your beef with Keefe? It was a stinker. Next to no effort in the first 20. Marky, the same way he's going to have to bail out the team some nights, the team is going to have to bail him out too. They didn't today. They let him down. Yeah. Again, on the Nico change, I think he was about to vomit. He was out there for a while, and I think he was just like, I'm going to keel over, and he thought he could pull it off. Super excited to get mine. Oh, thanks for ordering, Zach. I ordered a t-shirt because hoodies are all 2XL. Art is a new resident pessimist. I think the team, just like the fans, has realized that Markstrom is not that good. Confidence gone. Come on, man. Come on, Art. One game. Have you watched any of the other games? He looked great in Prague. He looked very good against the Senators. He looked very good in that Carolina game where the team just completely abandoned him. We need Pesci back, and Kovacevic is not a top 4 D-man. I really like him. There's a reason we got him for a bag of balls. Art W, nonsense. Ace, can you make a hat so I can make my dog wear it? I think I'm gonna do the hat. I wasn't sure how people would feel about hats, but several people have said it. I think I'm gonna make the hat. Richard Tompkins, Art, you sound like a super fun guy to be around. Step away from the ledge, Art. Chico, he's a break glass in case of emergency top 4 D-man, but he's very, very effective when used correctly. Yep. I agree with that. Demo with some common sense. We got a point. Sky didn't fall on our head. Don't go to disaster mode, some of you people. But people like to live in the negativity, guys. People like to live in the negativity. I'm trying to be positive. at least way more positive than I have been in prior times. Brat needs to start burying his chances. Yeah, I would like to see that too. Art is a troll. Ace don't make excuses. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Some people are just trolls and doomers. Asking modern Devils fans to not go full doomer after every loss is like asking a cactus to do algebra. Man. Bruff. I don't even know how to say this. Bruff. BSDI. Jack Hughes needs to start doing Jack Hughes things. Yeah, absolutely. We saw he had one nice play where he got off a nice shot, but it was kind of like right at the goalie, squared up. But yeah, we need Jack to start flying around and doing Jack Hughes things is right. You know, 1 goal through 8 is not exactly exciting anybody, and it's a slow start for him for sure. They're better than last year, but not by much. Your boy Meyer is so overrated. He is not worth his salary, and Jack has regressed. They are not heavier edger down the middle. I like the big defenseman. I like the big centers as well. I always wanted one. I think we talked about this last game, and I think Timo's going to heat up. You know, the top 6 as a whole, I guess, outside of now, after tonight's game, I don't think you could say that about. You can't really say Nico, but you know, the depth has been getting it done up until today, and I would say, you know, today that pretty much was the nicohischier show, and he now is tied for the team lead with 8 points with Stefan Nason. Who would have thought? Oh, and shout out to Nason. That was a beautiful forecheck that led to, was it the second goal where he just crushed a guy and the puck came loose? You love to see it. It was a really nice play by Nason. He's an absolute monster. This would have been an 8-2 loss if it was last season. I think we would have got skunked for sure. Oh, my computer's freaking out. Computer's freaking out. Let me see. That was March. We skipped up a bunch. I feel like I say it after every loss. If you look back at cup winning seasons from any team, you'll see they worked on a myriad of things over the course of the year. Yeah, but you would like to see certain things kind of get cleaned up. And so far, to me, the most disheartening thing I think on the season has been the sloppy play in our own end that we've seen way too much now. You know, that's got to get cleaned up, and it keeps it's like a reoccurring theme. You would take Trouba, admit it. I really don't want Trouba. We have a wealth of defensemen. I have no interest in Trouba, if I'm being honest. Jack for Brady straight up. That is absurd. If he was a Devil, you would love his dirty hits. The part you would hate is his weak defense. Exactly. He's not a good defender, and we have tons of defensemen. Like we have 8 defensemen that, you know, are competent NHL defensemen when Luke and Pesci come back. So a guy like Trouba, I just don't see any desire or sensibility for him. Luke Hughes is sorely missed in 3-on-3 OT. Luke was a overtime machine. Put Casey in Palat's spot when Pesci comes back. A lot of people have talked about this, and I don't know where they kind of got it from. I don't think Seamus Casey's ever going to be made into a forward. I think it's kind of wild. I don't know where people came up with that. It's just leapfrogged. Casey didn't play good to me. Casey barely played. Casey was on the bench most of the game. He played a little over 7 minutes, and That's going to happen on some nights while he's still here. In every video, we need to create a poll. Who is responsible for our wrongdoings? A goalie, the defense, our attack. Fitz is going to, I guess, is that burn in hell? Troll drones get lost. The Kachuk talk started early tonight. Mark it off on your running with the Devils bingo card, folks. I'm a Rangers fan who hates Trouba for that he sucks and gets paid too much. Yeah. And because of his wife's like doctor residency or whatever, they wouldn't they tried to get rid of him, but then they scrapped the plan, right? I think that's what happened. Yeah, I blame Steven too. He said that he knew we were gonna lose. But the way the team played tonight, we get dummied by the Rags. Well, we would get dummied by the Rags if they played the way they played tonight. But if they played the way they played in some of the games we looked good, then I think we have a great chance against the Rangers. James, I don't know what to make of this team. We struggle against teams who barely make the playoffs. I do not see us being cup contenders. Guys, everybody calm down. It was game 8 with a new coach, and we still don't have 2 of our best defensemen. It will be okay. It will be okay. We are at game 8, and they've had 4 stinkers. They managed one in Ottawa because of Markstrom. They didn't come back against Toronto and Carolina. I wouldn't call Ottawa a stinker per se. I think Carolina was a definite stinker, as was Toronto, but I don't know that I would call the Ottawa game a stinker. Thank you, Devils TKP. Appreciate the super chat. Jack is playing scared like he's made of glass. I mean, you know, it might be a little extreme, but obviously, you know, not every person or guy on the team or any team for that matter is going to be as heavier, edgier, and violent as other guys. And obviously, he's on the, you know, the low end of the heavier, edgier, more violent spectrum. Not everybody could bring that. That's just not his game. But I would like to see a little more feistiness and fight in him, especially on like the loose pucks and stuff like that. Like sometimes it just seems like he gives up pretty easily. He always does try to make, like I mentioned this last time too, he is very shifty with his stick. So he'll like tie someone's stick up or try to hit it up and grab the puck from them or strip them. He had a couple like takeaways tonight, I believe. If Jack puts some weight on, as some are suggesting, he will lose a significant portion of his skating ability. If there is any at the moment, I think he is not well fit to play as it seems. I just think he's you know, he could possibly still be hurt, but I think he's just having a very slow start to the season. Yeah, Select the boy. I agree. It's October. We only have 6 months to go. That's plenty of time to change things around. Yeah, this is game 8. I'm not going to get any sort of animated. I mean, after wins, I will, but after most losses, game 8, I can't really get that angry or whatever you want, emotional about it, because it's still so early. And at this juncture, the team has 11 points out of a possible 16. So let's do the updated math. It's probably going to be, oh, wait, I have an old school calculator right here. I don't know. Some of you guys are so young, you probably don't know what this is. This is a calculator. This is an old school calculator. You press the buttons and it does the math for you. So we got 11 out of 16. Oh, this thing's just displays jacked up. 11 out of 16 points for our percentage times 164 potential. I have to do this on the thing. This thing is jacked up. I just got like 3rd grade PTSD from my math teacher that used to yell at me. Yeah, so our points percentage is 0.6875. You multiply that times 164 potential points on the year. And right now we're playing at a 112.75. So basically 113 point pace. 113 points might win the division. It's certainly getting in the playoffs. Heavier, edgier, more violent hat is a must product. Make it happen, Ace. All right, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to do the hat. I'm just trying to figure out a couple little things about it, but I'm going to do the hat. Black Atron, I'm at work slinging drinks. I'll watch the stream later. Cheers. Cheers to you. this fan base needs a serious boost to mental toughness. It's possible. Again, we're playing at 113-point pace, and people are upset. I mean, I'm upset about the loss too, but I'm not doomsday like people are talking. So many people talking about how Jack is mentally weak while they're standing on the ledge themselves. Yeah, after every game now, I've come to kind of suspect it. People are just, very, very down and very, I think, irrationally emotional might be a good word for it. Even star slump at times. Jack will be fine in the long run, assuming he can stay healthy, which is the real challenge. That is the real challenge. I fully expect him at some point to start heating up and burying a ton of goals, but I'd like to see it sooner than later. Every game I'm hoping to see it, and so far you're like, when are we going to see the breakout? Let the boys cook. It's still early. It's still very early. I think Markstrom lost his composure on the first goal. He was pissed and might have thrown his game off. Yeah, Markstrom's a fiery guy. Markstrom's an absolute fiery guy. He doesn't like being scored on. These are the wildest takes I've ever seen. Yeah, a loss brings this out in recent times. People are getting very, very, very down in the dumps. Jack seems untouchable to be called out by the coach and GM. Such a joke. Well, they said I didn't see it because I came on here right before, but people said Keefe was kind of voicing his displeasure in the postgame, so I'll definitely be checking that out. It's October, guys. Chill. Absolutely. Art, we knew you were at the ledge. The Art of Pimpin'. What a screen name. The captain is the only one that came to play. He definitely had a great showing tonight. If any of the defensemen are forward, it is Luke Hughes. Again, I can never see these things happening, but waiting for someone to suggest making Polana D-man. Until the Devils become a proven team, there will be negativity from this fan base. I mean, fair enough. But, I mean, give it a little more time. We're playing at 100. We're 5-2-1, playing at 113-point pace. And we've played 8 games under a new head coach. And people are just, the sky is falling after every loss. It's a little wild to me. Oh, man. For all the doomers tonight, I wish you would step back from the ledge, my friend. What is that? Third Eye Blind? I think it's one of those old school. Yeah. Wish that you would step back from that ledge, my friend. Yeah. What a song. Ace chirping the kids in my calculator. Listen, the insane Pollock. Listen, everyone. I broke my TV throwing a brush at it last year during the Caps game when we blew the lead twice and lost the point. I'm happy with the point tonight after the debacle last year. A brush at the TV, huh? Gregory Shaw, hello, sir. Jack's problem is for 4 years under Lindy, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. Now there's a system, and he's having a hard time not being a one-dimensional player. That might be a part of it. Maybe, there is a adjustment period for him to not be out there, kind of doing the one-man show thing that I think a lot of us have seen over time in different spurts. A lot of time, I don't know, for any of you older people around my age, remember for basketball, there was like the N1 mixtape, the N1 league where the guys would do all the fancy. Jack kind of reminds me of like N1 hockey almost on some nights where you just trying to do a little too much with the fanciness, like those N1 mixtapes from back in the day. I'm sure he's hurt. Can't shoot with an F shoulder. Well, he had that nice shot the other night for his goal. Misguided Angel. Markstrom better start playing better. I think he will. He had, I thought, a couple good outings, leading up to this one, and tonight was a bad one. Jack didn't get rewarded with all the OT time like he used to. I think a lot of that had to do with how much of the overtime that the Caps had the puck. They had it for like the first couple minutes almost to start the period. And then Jack got stuck out there after he had to be out there for a face-off. And Yeah, that led to him not just getting as much time in the overtime. Still can't believe Thompson made that save on Timo in OT. I think that was a very lucky save, but he was in the right position to make it. 113-point pace with nothing from Jack to this point is a good sign for this team. I could not agree more. It's just like it's only a matter of time before he wakes up. He didn't forget how to play how to play hockey over the summer. At some point, he's obviously going to heat up, whether it's an injury, an adjustment to Keefe's system, whether it's a combination of the things. At some point, he's going to start producing the way we all expect. And when that happens, with Pesci and his brother Luke back in the lineup, with some of these other guys kind of more settled into the system, this team, I think, has a very, very high ceiling. But for everyone crying after every loss, I think it's a little overreactionary. Cody Skills, this game was crazy, but it was a great effort by the boys. I would say it was not a great effort by the boys, but they showed some fight and coming back. But the overall effort, I would say, was lackluster. Jack is absolutely not 100%. He just can't be based on the eye test, and his recovery timeline, super body strength just isn't there yet post-surgery. Well, if we're being honest, super body strength wasn't there pre-surgery. But if you're talking about in terms of like being compromised, it's definitely possible. He definitely could be still ailing. It's an improvement from last year. At least they're beating inferior teams so far. That's plus, but still some sloppy hockey going on out there. Yeah, absolutely. Slop. I would actually like to know if Jack does get bigger, will his skating actually be affected? I don't believe so at all. If we're talking about, getting to 190 or something like that, I don't believe that at all. But no, the Devils need to tell Jack to put on size. He's only 23. Yep. Ace, would trade Jack for Tom Wilson straight up given the opportunity. I know you love his game, even though you hate the guy. Trading Jack for Tom Wilson is crazy. Crazy. If you're talking about, I also think Tom Wilson's overpaid. I think. What does he make? I think he makes like something wild. I remember when he signed the deal. Yeah, he signed a 7-year, $45 million deal. He makes $6.5 million. I mean, I guess he's close to worth it, but that just seems insane for him. Yeah, I would love Wilson on our team. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, to suggest trading Jack for him is wild. The problem with the 112-point pace is that it's not coming from the top 6 players. The team can't depend on the bottom 6 to get into the playoffs. I do expect our star players to heat up soon. Yeah, obviously they can't do this all year long, Traveling Devil, but the fact that we've gotten such little production from some or most of them, I guess, and we are where we are right now, I think that's a testament to the depth that we do have. And again, once that top 6 does start clicking, it should be a beautiful thing to see. I was at the Rock when we were leading the Caps 2 goals last season. They won the game. I hate the Caps almost as much as the Rangers. Not really. The Rangers have a place in hell reserved for them. Oh, guys, if you grew up in northern New Jersey, a Devils fan when I did, I became a fan the season the Rangers won the Cup, their last Cup, which was, over 30 years ago at this point, just to remind you. Keeping score at home, but I've been tormented and been arguing with Ranger fans since I was a child for 30 years. And so with that being a part of it, and then obviously all the battles we've had with them over the years, I can't hate a fan base or a team more than I hate the New York Rangers. They will forever be my most hated franchise no matter what happens. And obviously the rivalry got a little more interesting last year, with the whole Rempe thing. And shout out to Matt Rempe. If it wasn't for what happened with him for those multiple games, I do believe that the team would not have woken up to the harsh reality that they were just way too kind of soft. And Rempe put a spotlight on the issue, and we went out and addressed it. And what did Fitzy do? Heavier, edgier, more violent. And you love to see it. I'm super pumped for that Rangers game. I can't believe the schedule makers are making us wait till December to see the first one. It's just a very long time. Markstrom is the reason they won in Ottawa. Some of y'all got memories like 10-second Tom. Yeah, Markstrom was the difference in that game. That game could have very easily been a loss. And again, he kept us in the game in Carolina when we had, if that was last year's team, we were losing that game 7-2, 8-2. We would have never even been in the game. We were in a position to tie it up late and steal a point. Turco Media, my man, Brian, what's going on? No matter what, This team is significantly better than last year's. It was a well-fought game. Yeah, they fought back, Brian, but to blow the thing that was disheartening is after they came back from the first 2-goal deficit, like, you got to really, hit the gas pedal from there and just take over. And they just got smacked back right after that. But they definitely fought hard to get the point, and that's a huge point that they did get. Keefe said something like 2-3 games on home ice were unacceptable effort. Yeah, good for him for calling it out. It seems like Keefe doesn't pull any punches, and he calls it like he sees it. I always respect that with coaches. I'm curious to see when he gets like the kind of, I'm not going to say like hard questions per se, but the questions that are a little more pointed. Like, Lindy didn't really like that too much, but I don't think it really bothers Keefe. Wonder if they'll run 11-7 when Pesce and Luke return. I don't think they will, but it's interesting to see if we try it. I just like having, the 12 forwards just roll the lines for the most part and stick with what you think is going to work. But Cotter on the fourth line, I guess Cotter's never going to have a real home, if I'm being honest. It seems like Cotter is just going to be bounced and shuffled around all season long. Can't wait to get Pesce and Luke back. Yeah, that'd be nice. Tom Wilson makes just a little more than plot. Yeah, I mean, when you guys use that comparison, it's obviously, Wilson has had some scary injuries before, though. The term on Wilson is a poison pill. I'm saying it right now. Jack gets a hat trick. First game, Luke comes back. Insane Pollock. I love the prediction. I don't know when Luke's going to be back. I don't think anyone does. But hopefully sooner than later, and hopefully it helps the defense out. I think this team is going to be just fine, guys. I'm not worried. Again, it's game 8. The emotional overreactions I think are just wild. 1994 forever. Yeah, absolutely. 1994. I mean, the way Ranger fans talk, even present day, I do find interesting. Yeah, I guess they won one cup in the real league essentially 30 years ago. They have to watch the highlights on their VHS tapes, and the Devils won 3 since then. But somehow they think because they made it to the playoffs without winning a cup after that, that it somehow makes them more relevant. I don't know. They usually are when you sign players at that age. The players always get years into the unproductive years, and Tom Wilson is known to get hurt a decent amount. Why can't Jack get to 200 if you bulk? Of course you could get there. I think that's a stretch for him, man. He might be like 160, 165. They list him at 175. I honestly don't believe it. To get to a true 200, I feel like, I don't know. I think 185, 190 would be a treat. Oh man, let's talk about that for a minute, Zach. I haven't addressed this yet. Some of you guys mentioned it earlier. The regular season champions banner, and I'm not just saying this because it's the Rangers. I would say it no matter who it is, and really any sport, to put a regular season champions banner in your arena is a flat out embarrassment. There's no other way to spin it. Regular season champions is a joke. I think a lot of the national media ripped them. I heard the Chicklets guy ripping them, and I think Witt made the point of like, if it said President's Trophy winners or something, like that's acceptable. But to use the term champions in any context other than Stanley Cup champions in a hockey arena is a complete joke. But I do think that probably is, Dolan being overzealous, looking to celebrate any single thing he can. And so he saw, winning the President's Trophy as the opportune time to put up a regular banner. I'll be back 1 second. Quick leak, 1 second. Be right back. Oh, that was a quick one. And I changed my hat. Someone made me self-conscious, and it was also getting very hot with the lights cooking on me. The lights, the bright lights. The bright lights are very cooking, and I get hot. Jack will get it together. Yeah, I just don't see why. It sucks to have a slow start for anybody, but when it's your franchise player, you obviously want to see him snap out of it sooner than later, and I think he will. Jay Snow, you just need to go into a calorie surplus and hit the gym. Yeah. I think 180, 185 could be good for him. Hughes at 200 is laughable or nor needed. I think 200 is excessive, but I do think 10 pounds of muscle or bulk would be appreciated. I think there are literally 0 small guys in the Caps. Yeah, and that's why they give us a lot of trouble. They're a huge team, and I think teams like that could kind of do bully tactics and kind of impose their will on us, especially when we get pinned in our end. I think they use the size. And obviously, that's why heavier, edgier, more violent. You need those kind of guys. I thought there was a couple guys tonight fighting out there hard for pucks on the wall, but the Caps are a huge team. At least 190. I think 185, 190 would be nice. 190 might even be a stretch, honestly. Like I said, I think he really might be truly 165, 170. I think the 175 might be at a little roundup on the part of whoever's reporting that, but I'm going to say just 10 pounds, 10 to 12 pounds of a little bulk, and just get a little nastier. What's going on, Maria? Hi, everyone. Just got back from the game. Hard fought. There was a meet and greet with Curtis after, and he said we didn't deserve that 1 point. Yeah, we kind of stole it. We kind of stole that point. $175 is too small. For him, I think it is. Fabricating greatness since 1926. McDermott, next game against Washington. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that McDermott still hasn't seen any action. I mean, wow. I thought he was going to get at least 20 to 30 games this year. I've talked to people that thought he was going to get 40, and then there was like some people that said he was going to play like 8 to a dozen. It's seeming like they're right. And yeah, it's just I'd like to see him in there. And when you do see him in there, you're going to see a little bonus time from Jack and some of the other skill guys. So I don't mind it. I hope we see it soon. Ace, you should watch the Keith presser with the chat so we could hear your analysis. I'm trying to figure out some tech things that maybe in the future I could put it on here while it's happening. I'm going to look into that. Keith, oh man, you guys are all hyping this presser up. Keith presser was incredible. I haven't been this excited about a coach in a long time. Perfect. So it seems like he was full of fire and criticisms, which you like to see. I don't like to see when you get a coach gets up there and he's like, oh, we didn't play well. Like, hold guys accountable, call them out. No one likes that, and hopefully it lights a fire under their ass. I hear Lindy uses magic words before they lost to CBJ the other day. Puck management, LOL. What do we do with Palat? Cody, if you have an idea, send it, put it in the suggestion box at the Rock. Because at this point, I think he's pretty much untradeable. And there you have it. Try to trade him next year, and if they can't, buy him out and bite the bullet. Yeah. Did they really do this? I think that's in reference to the Rangers banner. Yes, they did. It was sad. It was completely sad. Jeff, here we go. I'm in Ace's camp. The Hudson rivalry is a real thing. Also makes the whole game real. No story is fun without a dragon. There's been a lot of disrespect from that city that doesn't sleep. 100%, man. There's nothing like regular season Ranger games. They kind of fell off in their intensity for a couple of years there, but it's fully back and it's at a fever pitch now. The whole Rempe thing, that just reignited the rivalry. Obviously the playoffs helped as well in the 22-23, but that Rempe kind of kicked it up to another notch. And obviously with the line brawl, what an epic night in Devils Rangers rivalries, that line brawl. But I think this year we're going to see some real wars between the Devils and Rangers. And it just sucks that we have to wait till December. I mean, I don't understand what the schedule makers, how do you wait 2 full months for one of the biggest rivalries in the sport for that to be a showdown. 2 full months you wait until we see the Rangers. I mean, it just seems crazy. I also miss, December 2nd, on nearly 2 full months. And if I'm being honest, I miss the days of, I forget what year it was. It had to be around, I guess 2000, maybe late 90s, when we were in the Atlantic Division. There was a time where we would play the Rangers 8 times, I believe. I believe it was 8 times, 4 home and 4 away. And that's how you keep the rivalry awesome. When you play them 8 times in a year, it just births bad blood and theatrics. It was wild. I wish we played them 8 times a year still. Of course I wash my hands, Ron. What kind of uncivilized animal do you think I am? With a shot of soap, too. Rangers suck is my battle cry at the Rock. So on this front, I will say I hate the Rangers suck chants when we're not playing the Rangers. I never liked it because that gives them fuel for like, oh, you guys are obsessed. I don't like the chant when we are not playing them. Off topic, but the music at the Prudential Center is horrible. I was going to do a show on that too for all you old school fans, just talking about the all the staples of Brendan Byrne and Continental Arena. The soundtrack was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. You guys are nuts. That was quick. It was quick. The bathroom's close by. Sometimes I, I'll get a drink or something kind of on the way back. That was a beeline. That was just straight running all in. Bro, I was at 160 at one point, and now I'm 195. Now you got to eat like it's nobody's business. Yeah, but these guys have nutritionists. They eat super healthy. And they obviously burn a ton of calories being professional athletes. And so it might not be as easy for him as some other people. There you go, Art. After reading all the encouraging comments from my bros, I stepped away from the ledge. Yeah, it's super early, man. Jack still hasn't gotten on top of his game. We're still missing 2 of our top 2 defensemen. It'll all come together. Guys, don't freak out over Jack yet. It's just a slow start. Look at McDavid. Look at Matthew start too. Yeah. There's a ton of guys right now that you're like, oh, where have they been? But they're not going to be gone forever. They will be back with a vengeance. I think Rangers have to win it this year because next year they're going to lose guys. I mean, their window is kind of on the closing. They're gonna be on their way out. But honestly, assuming I still don't believe Shesterkin turned down $11 million times 8 years. I mean, that is greedy. If I was a Rangers fan, I'd hate the guy. But if they are able to sign him, even with losing a bunch of guys, I think as long as you have Shesterkin, you will be a playoff team and have a chance to win a cup. A guy like that could bring a less than, stacked team to win a cup. I do believe it. I do think he's that good when he's on. Yeah, whatever Jack is at, add 10. Exactly. 10 to 12 pounds. I'd like to see that. I am going to differ with Ace on that. I think heavier, edgier, more violent doesn't apply in the attack part. Fine. Light skaters is the whole philosophy of the Russian-made Detroit team that created a dynasty. Okay. What's going on, Kobe? Beachmaster, they lie on Jack height. I think they lied on height and weight, and they do that with a lot of guys. McDermott is chilling, enjoying sushi, waiting for his time to knock a sucker out. I would love to see it. Would absolutely love to see it. D-Rock, I bet he weighs 150. I mean, I can't see that light, but probably somewhere kind of right in the middle of 150 and 175 would be my true guess. Just make Jack stronger on skates. We've seen Jack play with some grip before. Right now, he seems extra timid. And again, he might be playing injured. He might be scared of getting injured. Would like to see Hadika in the mix, at least to see what he can do. I believe he's on the IR. So that was another guy. That was the guy that I thought was going to replace Luke, and I think probably would have had he not gotten hurt. And they're just like, oh, yeah, Hadika got hurt, and then we didn't really know anything. And then when the roster came out, he was on the IR, and I'm like, damn. Yeah, I thought he's on the IR. Yeah, he is. It's kind of wild. Bring up Hallinan, please. I like Hallinan. I would love to see him get a shot just to see what he could do on the fourth line. I thought he looked good in the preseason. He definitely is heavier, edgier, more violent. He has a mean streak to him. He plays with intensity. I like Hallinan's game. I wouldn't mind seeing him get in the lineup for a couple games. This isn't the first time the Devils have had to wait a long time to play our biggest rival. So stupid. Once they even played all the games in like a 3-week span. Yeah, sometimes the schedule makers do stuff where you're like, I understand their job is hard. They have to coordinate all these teams and stuff, but you got to do better than that. No, he's on the IR. It's not out for the season, but because Luke and Pesci are coming back, I think that pretty much seals Hadika's fate for this year, unfortunately for him. And I don't even know, depending on, I guess, if Casey goes down and he plays in Albany, or Utica, rather. I'm going back to my, Albany River Rats. My God, Utica. If Casey goes to Utica, he still might end up higher on the depth chart than Hadika now as a result of how well he's played since he's been here. So it will be interesting, but, Hadika, another guy in this beautiful organizational defensive depth. Okay, so thank you for that, LB. 8 times was 2006, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, the 8 times a year was phenomenal. David, 7 times a year in the Patrick division. Louis, I don't like the chant either, living rent-free. And I hate when they say rent-free, but I do feel like the chant kind of gives credence to that. Like, we're not playing the Rangers. Why say Rangers suck? Like, I think it's dumb, and I hate it. And I hate that as much as I hate the you suck after the goals. I wish that all got abolished. We brought back Rock and Roll Part 2, the old goal song, and went back to our old ways when we were winning. Chanting you suck, when we score a goal and we're down 3-0 and we score a goal and it's 3-1, and then they're like, hey, you suck. Like, do they suck? They're still winning 3-1. So I always thought it was dumb, but I get kids like it and stuff. I believe the Devils lost all 8 to the Rangers in 2008, something stupid like that, and then in the playoffs. I don't remember that. I agree with you about that. I'm so tired of all the house music and make some noise. There does seem to be an emphasis on like house music. I do wish they played more, old school rock. Like the stuff we used to see back in the old arena. But again, I'm an old man, and pretty much almost everything I like about the old school ways better, including the arena and the music. And we had a parking lot, and I could go on and on. But this is a new era now. Next game, we need to bottle up the Lightning because they can get hot and it's hard to stop. Yeah, I remember that was a game. It was on a Sunday, I believe, in March. There was a big game in the playoff race for us, and it was, I think, Sunday at home against the Lightning, and we just shit the bed in that one too. And I remember being furious. I remember being absolutely furious. Yeah, players lose weight over the season. You just got to go eat. Yeah, zero understanding of how many calories pro athletes burn every day. Exactly. Like, he would have to be just, inhaling White Castle before he goes to bed or something, because, yeah, especially, I would love to know how many calories he burns in an average game. It's probably something wild. Whoa, Demo with the hot take. I think McDavid has his greatest days behind him now, my personal opinion. I think McDavid's going to be phenomenal until he hangs it up. Obviously, he's not going to have the same insane point totals towards the end of his career, but he's going to have a shitload of points, I think. For sure. Thoughts on Nico setting a record tonight? Yeah, really cool. Quickest 2 goals by one guy in Devils history, 10 seconds. I mean, that's going to be a very hard record to break. I mean, essentially, to break it, you'd have to score a goal, then stay out on the ice for the ensuing faceoff. Essentially, your team would have to win it, or if the other team wins it, they would have to win it back where it like past the defenseman and you got to jump on it or something and score immediately. I mean, that's 10 seconds, 2 goals in 10 seconds is phenomenal. And that could be a Nico record, until the end of time. I don't know about calling the legendary Red Wings not edgy. Those guys were nasty. Go out. Oh, Shanahan, random Shanahan highlight. The guy was unhinged. Brendan Shanahan was an absolute monster on those Red Wings teams. Those teams were just, if you haven't seen it, watch the rivalry. I think it was a 60 for 60. The Avalanche Red Wings rivalry documentary, insane, involving former New Jersey Devil legend Claude Lemieux, a big figure in that whole thing. Insane rivalry, and that Red Wings team definitely were no pushovers, for sure. They had some very, very tough men on that team. I'm going to hit the instant unpopular button. If you truly sit and think on who you would bring to the team and try to decide on a main player to give up, you wouldn't give up none of our top guys. I don't want to give up any of our top guys. It was the Sean Avery nonsense that year in 2008. Oh, man, I hate Avery. Rangers suck chant is lame when we're not playing the Rangers. Not going to lie, though, I do chuckle when we're playing the Islanders and the whole arena starts chanting it. Yeah. I was there when Rock and Roll Part 2 made its debut, and the Devils were the Colorado Rockies, and Don Cherry was the coach. Wow, Val, that's pretty cool. I would love to see Rock and Roll Part 2 brought back as the goal song. I think because the whole thing with Gary Glitter, the singer, and his troubles, that may never happen for us, but I would love to see it. Old school rock, I'm backing you up on this. Absolutely. I used to get real mad in the dark years when NJ was really bad and people would still chant other teams sucked and they'd be beating us like by 4+. Yeah. And that's why it's the dumbest chant ever. That was a series Sean Avery stood in front of Marty and waved his hands in his face like a clown. Yeah, that was pretty wild. A very wild thing indeed. And then they made some sort of formal rule about it, I believe, not too long after, but that was an unprecedented thing because no one has ever done something like that. So to see that done and then a rule get made as a result of it just kind of shows you how screwy, Avery really was. They need to give each player their own goal song like the Caps do. More fun than hearing the same song over and over. That's an interesting angle. It was awful. Lundqvist did a victory lap on Prudential Center ice. Was that when Uncle Gomer and Yager were still rags? I remember they swept NJ one year. I believe so. Man, Gomer in a Ranger jersey. Broke my heart. Broke my heart. Yeah, and Gomer, we lost in the 2008. It was the first round, the quarterfinals to the Rangers in 5 games. And Yager led the Rangers with 8 points, and Gomez had 7. Oof. The Gomer had 7. Devils have never been swept as a 5-game series. It was so one-sided for the Rangers, they might as well gotten swept. Mm-hmm. Henrique, it's over. What a beautiful night in franchise history. Knocking them out in game 6. Adam Henrique. That's pretty much the single highest point for the Devils as an organization in the Prudential Center. I would say the Henrique game is probably number 1 and like most important. And then I would say number 2 would be Marty 552, and the same night that Patrick Elias broke John McClain's record for all-time franchise points leader in the same night, which kind of sucked for Patty. It's cool in a way, but it also kind of sucked because, Patty becoming the all-time leading scorer in franchise history kind of was completely overshadowed by the great Martin Brodeur setting the all-time wins record. And so it was just one of those things where it was just like, we saw double history on the same night, but definitely kind of sucked for Patty's sake. The Wings-Avs rivalry was the greatest from that timeline. Yeah, beautiful. Completely crazy. Hockey's very different now. A lot of the stars are speedy skill guys, but back in the day, even the stars were nasty, just mean and crazy. Guys like Gretz were the outlier. I mean, they still had their finesse guys, but like even a guy like, I would say guys like, Steve Yzerman and Brett Hull, Keith Kachuk, these guys all had way more, physicality and kind of fierceness in their game than the Stars today. But there was some guys back then that would have, shied away from any sort of rough stuff, but a lot of them did were tougher than the guys are today. I 100% agree with that. Johnny Mack in a Rags jersey also sucked. Yes, it did. Thoughts on Yankees winning 5-2? Baseball just doesn't do it for me, Zebra. I'm sorry. Baseball puts me to sleep. Although I was at a buddy's house last night and I got forced to watch last night's Yankees game, probably the first game that I watched most of in a long time. That was an interesting, another close one for the Yankees. But baseball just isn't my thing. Growing up as a Hispanic Devils fan, Gomer was my hero, then a villain, then he had a great redemption arc. Yeah, Gomer's still the man. I hated him for a little while, but I eventually got over it. Yeah, Gomer's a legend. Always loved Gomer. Always hoped he would be back in the organization in some capacity one day, whether that's some sort of executive or assistant coach or whatever it is. I thought it would have been cool. That game I went to, I had to sit next to Rags fans in our own building, listen to them saying how that Gomez, he's a real player. Watch him. Look at how good he is. Killed me. I still remember it. Louis, did he not know that he was a Devil before? Or what was the... Let's say Hughes' contract comes to its natural end. At some point it will. Do you see him becoming a Ranger? I would be furious like an Italian when they serve him Hawaiian pizza. I do think there's a good chance Jack is a lifelong Devil. But I don't know why people would think, he would go to the Rangers more so than any other team. Hopefully he's a lifelong Devil and he wins a couple cups here. The double records reversed the Hawks, and the Hawks were starting to get really good too. I think they won the cup for the first time that year. Those Hawks teams were loaded with Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith. I mean, wow, what a run for the Hawks. I mean, it was a pretty steep decline from the throne, if you will, but getting Connor Bedard kind of as a next generation guy to build around, I'm not going to shed any tears for the Hawks. They've won plenty. I ran around the block when Zajac scored on the Panthers. Yeah, that was an awesome goal. John McClain should be next in the Ring of Honor. For me, I put a lot of guys before him, John. I think he's worthy of the Ring of Honor, but I definitely put a guy like, Claude Lemieux ahead of him. But who knows? He might be high up on the organization's list. I'd be curious to see, and I'm still waiting to see who we're putting in the Ring of Honor this year. They announced that they're doing the Ring of Honor. They never said who it was. If I had to bet on it, I would believe that it's Lou or Jacques. I think it'd be one of them. And if it's a player, I'll be disappointed if it's Johnny Mack. I think you got to put, there's other guys that are just more worthy. I understand Johnny Mack, longtime Devil, won a cup in 95. He did have the franchise record for points for a very long time, but I personally would put several guys in before him just because I do think the two cups, the guys like Claude Lemieux and Randy McKay and Bobby Holik, I mean, those guys are legends in their own right. And I do believe, they belong in there for sure. And even Gomer. Gomer is on my list 100%. There's a good documentary on Avs Wings on ESPN. Yeah, I think that's the 60 for 60 I was talking about. And the Devils get a fair share of screen time at the beginning. Mm-hmm. They didn't sweep us in the playoffs. We swept them in the playoffs in 2006. Yeah, that was a sweet one. That's why I'm pretty sure Lou was behind the bench. I want to add something more about the Rangers. NJD is a team of the people. You get into the Rock for $9 on a cheap day. How much do you pay to get into MSG? Los Millonarios don't live in NJ. Oh, Demo, you're sadly mistaken, sir. There's plenty of millionaires in NJ, but it's obviously different than the suits, and all the corporate presence at Rangers home games, obviously. And yeah, it is much more affordable to go to a Devils game than a Rangers game, obviously. Loved watching Gomez during the playoffs. YouTube post games 2 years ago. You should get him on your stream when we go to the playoffs for the season. I'll definitely try. He's super busy. I've talked to him recently. I'm still trying to get him on to do part 2 of the part 2 of our interview. He's a great storyteller, and so I had a lot of stuff I wanted to get to with him, and we basically got to the night of, not even through it. We got through game 5 of the 2000 Stanley Cup Finals. I just dropped a link in there for the first part of the Gomer interview I did, if anyone hasn't seen that. But I'm trying to get him to come on for part 2. He's super busy. He's a coach and a GM of his junior team, and he's running around doing a ton. They got him doing a ton of stuff. And so it's been hard kind of getting that scheduled, but I'll eventually get him on for part 2 of the interview. And something during the playoffs would be awesome too. He got lit up on that post-game stream with Catherine, and then they didn't let him come back on. What do you mean by he got lit up? I do remember the post-games with Catherine. They were in like that, what do they call it? Like the legacy lounge, where there's like random memorabilia on the walls and like they're sitting in the chairs. I think that's what we're talking about, right? Zebra, I never got your email, my man. Send it. Runnin, RUNNIN with. My mind went blank. I got all these stupid email addresses. Runnin with the njdevils at gmail.com. I didn't get the email, so send it again. I'm curious to see your card collection. It does really feel like NJ have lost so damn much at home over the last few years, even the one when they were good. Yeah, home ice has not been taken care of properly. And hopefully that, we see a change in that soon. I was hoping we would see it, this year. But not a great start at home for the boys. But we got a point tonight, guys. We got a point in a game we had no business getting a point in. And I will find a little solace in that, a little bit. Was Randy McKay the answer to the trivia question tonight's second most PIMs after Danico in NJD history? Yes, he was. Randy McKay, MCKAY, is the second on the all-time penalty minutes list after Kenny D. McLean was my favorite growing up, but he isn't next in line for Ring of Honor, maybe like 5 down the road. Yeah, I would probably put maybe even more than that above him. John Madden was my favorite Devil growing up. I'd want him to get an honor one day. John Madden, in my opinion, one of the most underrated, underappreciated players of both the 2000 and 2003 Cup team. When I've talked to tons of guys from that team, and whenever you talk about unsung heroes or underappreciated players on those teams, amongst the first names mentioned are always, guys like Sergey Brelin, John Madden, Jay Pandolfo. And I believe John Madden is fully worthy of the Ring of Honor as well. Any of these 2 cup, you guys, you see how hard it is to win a cup. These guys were big parts of a team that won 2 of them. Tons of millionaire C-suite people living out in Mendham, New Jersey. Pharma people. There's tons of millionaires living in all parts of New Jersey right now. Arnott deserves it before Mac. I don't see that happening. But I love Jason Arnott as well. Pasha, the Spittin' Chicklets pod, said New York Rangers are an AHL team without Igor. Also, the beanie you were wearing is dope, bro. Thanks, man. I got clowned for it a little earlier, but it started to get very hot. It does get very hot. And I have stadium lights cooking my face right now. So when I took a leak, I had to just switch the hat real quick. Arnott was another favorite of mine. Yeah, who doesn't love Jason Arnott? I mean, let me duck. You guys can see it now? Right there. Right there. Jason Arnott, the biggest single biggest goal in New Jersey Devils history. Double overtime, Game 6, 2000 Cup Finals, wins the cup for us. And obviously the big hulking center of the A-line. Love to see it. Claude Lemieux, again, another legend. He got really drunk and said some weird shit. I wonder if those videos are still out there. I'm curious to I didn't see. I don't remember. I didn't see it live. I guess because I would remember that. That is pretty funny. Oh man, the team media even scrubbed it from their YouTube and delisted it. It's pretty funny. It should be Lou, Jacques, or Claude Lemieux. Those would probably be my top three, I would say, in no particular order. Lou and Jacques, just because of their ages and and relevance, right? Lou was the architect of all three Cup teams. Jacques is kind of the one that turned everything around. And Claude Lemieux, two-time Cup champ in 1995, Conn Smythe Trophy winner as the playoffs' most valuable player. I do think Claude is a guy that often gets kind of not totally forgotten about, but a little bit. I feel like he gets forgotten about a little bit over time. And I definitely think he should be one of the first players up there for sure. Yankees are in the World Series. Well, congratulations to Yankee fans. Lemaire remains my favorite coach of all time. I think he'll always be mine as well. But of all the coaches, obviously there's three that stick out above the rest, and they're Jacques Lemaire, Larry Robinson, and Pat Burns, and I love all of them. I love all of them. The stream has been at 21 likes since 15 minutes in. Oh, thank you, Louie, for looking out. Please, guys, hit the thumbs up, hit the likes. My screen's messed up, so I have no idea how many people are in here, but that's a really sad amount of likes. The more likes you get, the more people we could get out to as a community and the more opportunities that are going to come our way. As simple as that. Just do your part. Just smash the like, please. We might have wealthy people in NJ, but the Rock is not only for the ones who pay minimum $150 for the worst seat in the arena. I was able to afford going to the Rock after my classes at NJIT for that. I mean, that's just I don't think that that's New Jersey per se as much as it is, it's just the Devils fan base. Obviously, we saw a great sample tonight. Game 8, people are jumping out the window. That it's the same old Devils, yada yada. And so I do think the Devils crowds in the past few years or so typically have gotten larger as the team does better and as the season goes on after football season. I do think a lot of, there is a lot of casual Devils fans, I would say, and a lot of them don't really start paying attention until after football, unfortunately. Madden was deadly shorthanded. Madden was a beast. I think he had like 5 or 6 shorthanded goals one year. I might be making that up, but I don't think I am. The Devils were so bad there were years they were giving away lower bowl seats. Yeah, man, that was the Beak, the Jeff Vanderbeek era. I love those giveaways. That was phenomenal. I would get emails all the time. And your boy, Madden led the NHL and set a Devils team record and tied the NHL rookie record at the time by scoring 6 shorthanded goals during the 99-2000 season. My God. 6 shorties from one man. Unbelievable. The way rent's going, you're going to have to be a millionaire to live in the state at all. I mean, you're absolutely correct. The cost of living in New Jersey, obviously, for those that live here, is just gotten to the point where, you're not far off, Chico. Like, it is completely insane. I'd love Lou and Lemaire inducted on the same night. Both combined to change the way the game was played for a decade. Signing Soviets, developing the trap by combining Hans and Russians, X's and O's. I don't want to see them go in together because I want 2 separate nights. I think they're both, while that's a cool idea, I think they're both very deserving of their own dedicated night. But they absolutely changed everything, for sure. First Mogilny came over, and then Fetisov and some of those other guys. I mean, it was a wild time for those guys trying to leave Russia, and obviously, Jacques bringing the trap to New Jersey and kind of setting a new, philosophy and way for the Devils, and it carried on for years and years. Just the overall winning ways. I saw the Devils lose at least 14 times to the Rock or more. It sucks. I see them lose more times when I am there. Yeah, the home record's been pretty atrocious. All right, so let me go to this. I like teams that have respect for their fan base like the Devils. NJ Devils proved that both on their good and bad days. And then Louis claps back with that is subjective. When the team raised season ticket prices after a horrible season recently, I think people are pretty damn upset. I hear the toilets at the Rock are still bad. I do find it outrageous to raise prices when your team missed the playoffs. Unfortunately, I have to agree there. I think that is a travesty that, that shouldn't happen. The logic doesn't make sense to me. Your team did bad, so now as a reward, we're going to raise the prices. It's kind of wild, but that's, inflation and everything in this world. If Lou was your GM 20 years ago, you're going to win a cup. If Lou is your GM today, good luck. I mean, listen, the Islanders were in the playoffs last year. Do I think they're going to win the cup? No. Everything gets more expensive these days. I don't get how tickets wouldn't. They're still affordable. I mean, somewhat, Demo, but once the playoffs hit, that's where it gets out of control in a hurry. I'm pretty sure for the Rangers series, I don't remember specifically, but I want to say some of the games you could have got like an upper level seat for like $225, $250. Someone might have a better memory than me, but that was that's pretty expensive. And even against Carolina in the next round, the tickets were still 200 plus, I believe. Larry Robbins' Eastern Conference Final speech in 2000 is legendary, 100%. The turnaround, Larry telling the boys that they're disappointing him and they're capable of much better. People think it is tone deaf, especially with season ticket holders who are your most loyal fans. Typical to raise prices and take away benefits, which I heard as well. Yeah, that seems to be kind of what has happened. I had season tickets for a couple years in, I think it was 2011, 12, and maybe 12, 13. And the events were phenomenal. Marty was still around, Covey, Patty. A fun time and a good team, and the events were great, and the pricing made sense to me. Most games, the tickets that I had in the 100 level, I paid as a season ticket holder cheaper than what they would sell for. But obviously anyone who's been watching it now knows that on any given night, you could get tickets for cheaper than the season ticket holders paid for them. And so for me, that is a slap in the face to the fans. And some people don't care. I don't know how people still have season tickets after the, basically what is not really a secret anymore. It's pretty much blatant that you could get tickets for cheaper. And so do you enjoy just saying you have season tickets so much that you're willing to pay more money than what you could get them for elsewhere? It doesn't make sense to me. And that's why I didn't have them anymore. Hell yeah, the Beak. I got 4 lower bowl tickets for free on multiple occasions. They were selling $10 seats to college kids just to fill the seats. Yeah, it was a better time in the world. They raised prices, but is it so bad for the Rocks regulars? I wouldn't think so. You still get enough value for what you pay. That is subjective. I heard last year not all the concessions were open. Imagine having to bring a family out to watch a team lose. Bad bathroom, not all concessions open. That is expensive for a family. Madden scored game winner shorthanded in game 4 against Dallas, put the Devils up 3-1 in the series. What a beautiful series that was. I hear the food still sucks, even though they promote it like it doesn't. He has mismanaged the hell out of the Isles, in my opinion, taking a team that was on course to be a contender and turned them into a pretty meh team. He was trying to win. I mean, I think they're going to be a playoff team again. Is your complaint based on the fact that it's expensive to bring all your family to a game? Yes, it is expensive. It is expensive to take a bus with your whole family. $500 for playoff tickets is crazy. I emailed you my collection. I'll definitely take a look for that. I paid $30 for a single bowl ticket day of. If you live close and you could keep it loose, you could still get a deal. Is that a playoff ticket, Adam? I don't know if I'm believing that. A $30 single for a playoff game? I guess it's possible. I've seen crazy stuff before. It is everything I mentioned, my dude. My point is the team is not out to do you any favors. They are a corporation and you are a consumer. They are not altruistic. They may make money out of us, but a team is not just a corporation. If you think that, then you don't put enough heart into sports. And if a team does that, then it doesn't respect its fan base. I see both sides of this argument. This is a very good conversation you boys have going here, Louis and Demo. I do think there is a happy intermediate point of a company trying to make money, but also not disrespecting your loyal patrons, and in this case, the season ticket holders. And I do think there is a happy medium somewhere. And in my opinion, that's not really what's going on right now. People are going to feel differently about it, but Original 6-team fan bases are clown shows. As Devils fans, we're all well aware of the embarrassment that the Rags have been, but the Leafs fans the other night were hilariously dumb. And that, my buddy Goodie, what was that in reference to? I didn't really have any run-ins or anything with any Leafs fans. Is it their fans or their media? He definitely stayed on his recipe of rehashing players and staff he knows. No one loved the reunion more than the Lou. Lou loved a good old reunion. We saw so many of them over the years, I couldn't even begin to think of them all. But just a few that come to mind: Bobby Holik, Jason Arnott, Scott Gomez. There's so many with multiple stints. I think Clemenson had multiple stints. Who else? Tommy Albaline. Brian Ralston had a second stint. Man, I remember when Ralston came back as an old guy. Mike Rupp had 2 stints. David Conte should be recognized as an architect of the championship teams. I doubt anyone has ever heard of the director of scouting. Oh, I know David Conte very well. I don't know if I could give him the architect over Lou, but did he play an integral part? Absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about drafting Marty and Niedermeyer and some of those other guys, he absolutely, deserves some level of recognition, in my opinion, as does a guy like Jacques Caron. Jacques Caron, I think, is another guy that's kind of not forgotten about kind of over the years. Does Casey remind you of Rafalski? A little bit. It's going to take time before I say that he's like a new version of him or something. A lot of people have been making that comparison early, but obviously undersized guy that could skate, that sees the ice well, that could make great passes, that could shoot. Yeah, he definitely reminds me of him. If he turns out to be anything like Rafalski, we're in for a real treat. Again, Rafalski, another guy that I think was grossly underrated and kind of not appreciated to the level he should be for a guy that was on both the 2000 and 2003 Cup team. Rafalski, total legend. I hear what Ace is saying, and I accept that. At one point, do you just give up on your team if they don't get out of the dark years? No, of course not, Cody. I've been through a lot of dark years. I saw the 3 Cups, and then I saw a competitive team for years and years while Marty was still here, and then Marty left, and then it was like they cut the light off. A lot of dark years. And last year was another dark year. I thought we were finally out of it in 22-23, but it wasn't the end of it. Conte drafted a lot of duds from 95 on outside of Parisi and Zajac. Tedenby and Josephson, woof. There's some other ones on there as well. I mean, yeah, as him and Lou got older, they kind of lost their touch. But while they had it, there were some great drafts. My family had season tickets from 2008 to 2016, and every year they provided got worse. I moved away and haven't been back to NJ in a long time. And there was way less season ticket holder events in later years. Yeah, it's exactly why I got rid of it. The main reason I bought the season tickets when I did was because I wanted to be able to go to the events hassle-free. There was a ton of events. They were great. They weren't all packed. Skate with the players event. There was like a team awards that was super cool. And again, Marty was on the team, some of those years, or maybe not that when I had the season tickets, but around that time, Scott Stevens was on the coaching staff. And so there was like Hall of Fame guys that you could go get autographs from and get the pictures with and whatever. And it was cool. And I valued it at that point. Once they started taking the events away, and when you looked at the pricing and the pricing didn't make sense, I just said, there's no reason for me to have season tickets anymore. I mean, I did it mainly for the events, and you got an okay deal on tickets. But then once the perks of the events were basically gone, I was like, there's no need to do this anymore. McLean's short stint at head coach was painful and bizarre. He only won a handful of games. The team got crushed until Lou pulled the plug. Yeah, and then he called Jacques back. And then Jacques came for what would technically be his third stint as a New Jersey Devils head coach. When they came in here after we lost the home opener, you were roasting them like them. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was a few of them that were talking smack. No, it's true. And everyone roasted them. That was a good time, my buddy Goodie. The original point was that NJD respect their fans, and I'm pointing out that they deliver a product and we buy it. I don't think they respect us any more than they have to. I think Riche did as well. Man, Riche was another one. What an animal he was. Yep. Yeah, his second stint was only 10 games in 01-02. Yeah, Stefan Riche with another 2-stint Devil. Oh my God, how could I forget Sicky? Number 15, Peter Sikora. It is funny when the guys come back and guys like Gomer and Sikora that you vividly picture as their original number. Like Gomer will always be 23 to me, and Sikora will always be 17. But in Gomer's second stint, I think he was 21, and Sikora was 15 when he came back because we had Kovalchuk who was 17. Kind of funny. I got into the previous home game for 15 with fee included. Not all of us buy season tickets. This for me is more than easily affordable. Yeah, $15, no problem. That's great. Yep, 7 minutes time on ice for Casey. We talked about that earlier. The original game examples where people would not feel respected. It wasn't. Conte's draft record, I think, was a double whammy of not ideal drafting, but terrible development on top of it. I do believe the last decade is very different if Lemaire had stayed. It's interesting. Disclaimer, I don't have any benefit from the team. I just think our tickets are still very affordable. In the grand scheme of things, yes. But my problem with it is that the season ticket holders, in my opinion, I'm not a season ticket holder anymore. Full disclosure, I've said that. I had them for a few years back when, and I got rid of them. As a season ticket holder, let's just say you pay, I'm going to make up a number because I have no idea what the hell they charge now, but let's just say I pay $95 per game for my season tickets in the lower level corner, right? If I buy a full season at $95 a seat and I have 2 seats, so that's basically $190 a game. So just call it $200 a game for easy math. And they charge you for, the 3 preseason games as well. So you're talking about 44 games, including preseason at almost 200 a game. You're talking about nearly $9,000, right? $9,000 is not a ton of money, but it's nothing to sneeze at either, right? $9,000 is $9,000. If I'm paying $9,000 to the Devils for season tickets, and like I said, they're not, call it $95 a piece, lower level. If I go on the secondary market and see the same seats available for most games for in the 50s and 60s, maybe even the 40s some nights, that as the consumer of the season ticket, that would leave a bad taste in my mouth, personally. And I've seen season ticket holders complain about that recently. I think that is a valid complaint. Now I understand all the variables and dynamics that go into it, but I think people have a right to be upset when that's kind of what is going on. Arnott had a second stint, and so did Shanahan. Yeah, I mentioned Arnott. Totally forgot about Shanny. Loved Shanny's second stint as well. I actually have a Shanny. I think I have a Shanny game worn jersey from the second stint that I'll show off on here at some point. My whole point is that they do respect us. They do still have affordable tickets. I told you I got them for 15. How much do you want them to be? Demo, this is where I'm going to fully go against you on this point, because the $15 is not out of the great, the kindness of their heart. They didn't say, Demo, buy this ticket for $15 because we're so kind and respect you. You got it for $15 because that is what the market dictated. The almighty dollar. Nobody was buying them and they had to drop them till it hit 15. So that is a simple economic model of supply and demand. Has nothing to do with the team trying to respect people or anything other than they tried to get the most they could. Simple economic supply and demand on that front. I am respectfully ending the debate. Again, the discussion was about the respect fans, not about ticket costs. I get the season ticket complaints, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, most fans aren't in this category. I might be wrong. Well, obviously, if you're talking about Devils fans as a whole, there's probably millions of Devils fans in the world, I'd imagine, or at least hundreds of thousands. So obviously, I don't know how many season ticket holders the Devils have, but let's just say they have 10, 11,000 season ticket holders. Then clearly the majority of Devils fans as a whole are not season ticket holders, just from a mathematical standpoint. Lemaire was great with prospects and young players, and there were a lot of them hanging around from like 2009 to 12. I think Rico, Larson, Jelena, Sivo, even Josephson are much better if he stays. I always wanted Rico back. And now I thought last year could have been a chance. He went to Edmonton and it's over. Disagree. Hold on, Zebra. Let's see. Oh, very nice. John, are you aware of any in-arena camcorder video of the Cup game in 95? I thought I saw some stuff out there. If you scour the net, I do think there is some stuff, but in terms of camcorders, 1995 it's not that early in that technology, but for someone to have had it and then converted it, I've definitely seen some parking lot stuff. There was a thing that kind of got popular on X not too long ago. A woman posted a camcorder video from the parking lot. But John, that's a good question. Let me just see. I always love that sort of stuff too. I was always big on recording things and taking pictures kind of before the whole social media world. And so I have some pretty cool stuff from all different time periods. But unfortunately, I was too young to be able to convince my parents to find tickets to that Game 4 in the 1995 finals. The Devils are owned by $1 billion sports management company. If they could get away with charging Rangers prices, they would. And there you have it, Chico. Thank you. Supply and demand. The Devils are charging the most they could get away with. They are not giving anyone a break because they're nice. They're not doing it for any reason other than they cannot get any more money than what they're charging. That is the harsh reality. If they could charge $1,000 per seat for every seat in the arena and get away with it and they would be sold, they're doing it hands down, no questions asked. That's just not the reality. The demand for the tickets is not there anywhere near that price point. And as a result, you see the prices on the secondary markets of what they are. It is what it is. Supply and demand. That's what the free market. That is what determines the prices. Ace, I respectfully disagree. They could have priced the tickets much more. I think they want us to get into the stadium. Nope. I just went on a small rant about it. It's nothing more than they're trying to get them sold. I still think that Lemaire 2010-11 team would have won the cup if they made the playoffs. You never know. And then 11-12, obviously we made it to the finals, but the Kings had our number. It sucks. I always felt like Rico specifically had another gear that he just couldn't quite break into. I really think he could have been a regular 60, 70-point guy. I did think he was going to be a little more, flashy offensive stats early on, but he's gone on to have a pretty damn good career. Now he's in a good spot, as a veteran now to try to play a supporting role cast with the star-studded Oilers and try to win a cup. As a Canadian boy that he is, I feared once he went there that he was, any chance of him having a reunion with the Devils was out the window, and that's obviously been proven to be the case. He's gonna retire an Oiler. Chase Brogan, what's going on, my man? Just sitting here reminiscing about random things people are throwing out here in the chat. Devils lose, but get a loser point. I'm excited to see McDermott beat up Rempe this year. I hope we see it. Game 6, Zajac, Game 6, OT winner versus Florida was great. Yeah, and he was kind of, I could picture the one famous photo of that vividly where he's charging towards the glass. Super cool. Regardless, I want to say that this ticket convo had and should happen. I think that we as the people who make the fan base of NJD, we have a saying, yes, they do make money out of us too. If you don't respect your fan base and overcharge, then you lose your demand. Just want to mention the original combos with the team respecting fans, not about the price of the tickets. No, that is what it is. But I do think, and I don't know who first mentioned it, but I do think the season ticket holder prices comes into play into the conversation, in my opinion. In my opinion, that does come into play. Oh, man, how did I forget my man Mogilny? Shout out to you, BM. How could I forget Alex Mogilny on that? A member of that amazing 2000 Cup team, and then he came back in, was it like 05? He was brought back. Wasn't the same magical player, obviously, in his second stint. And, yeah, 05, 06 came back. Wasn't the same Mogilny. Actually played in the AHL. Yeah, he got sent to Albany because Lou needed to free up cap space, I believe. And I forget who told the story, but someone told the story on Spit and Chicklets that in the first day in Albany, Mogilny went to the coach or the someone on the team staff, whoever it was, and asked what the fine was for missing practice. And it's like, for its AHL guy, so it's cheap. I think it was like 150 or 200 bucks a practice. So Mogilny asked, "What's the fine for missing practice?" Then he asked how many practices there were, and then he literally wrote a check for the total amount of the fine times how many practices there were, and wrote a check and was like, "Here, basically like, middle finger. I'm not going to any practices in the AHL. Here's some pocket change. I got 100 milli plus in the bank." I don't see how they disrespect us. You were crying over raising the price of the season tickets. You guys are funny. Still got a soft spot for anyone brought during the early dark ages. Rico, Larson, Corey, Yager, Eliash, Camilleri, Palm, Sivo. Yeah, those teams had some of their moments, but overall it was some very dark years. Unless Rico ends up being on the trading block because Oilers missed the playoffs, more than likely not happening, but you never know. I can't see it. I use the season ticket holder prices as one example. They are a brand, a corporation. They respect us as much as they feel they have to. They do not go out of their way to respect. They sell a product. I agree there. Louis, I didn't say they disrespect anyone specifically. I said it was subjective. I agree there as well. I hear how Ace has a point. We disagree on how coldly the team sees us. I am the romantic. Ace is a menace. But Louis just randomly saying things like the season tickets are getting expensive. No, but Demo, it's all kind of one and the same thing. What he's saying is he takes it as disrespect from the team to the season ticket holders when you raise the price after missing the playoffs. And on that point, I have to agree with him. You cannot have a product that did worse than the season before, meaning the 23-24 Devils missed the playoffs. The 22-23 Devils made the playoffs, but now the 23-24 Devils missed the playoffs, and then you raise the price. I have a problem with that as well. I'm a little offended. Terrari, a two-time Devil. Oh, man, Chris Terrari. Forgot about Terrari, and then he was traded the second time he left. He got traded in that Beezer trade, and man, it's a shame we couldn't win that cup in 01 for Beezer. John Van Beesbrook goes down as one of the best goalies, at least in my opinion, of that era for sure. He had probably 300 some odd wins, and we couldn't win that cup for him. That sucked. It was a thrill to see Beezer as a Devil, though. I don't know if I'll ever get over how we wasted Corey's prime. In my opinion, at his best, he was the second best goalie on the planet behind Price. He deserved to be on a contender. Yeah, but Chico, our roster was so far away from being a contender. It was some of those rosters were brutal. I said the price of tickets with the bathrooms being out of order and bad food and not open concessions and raising season ticket holder prices are the way they do not show respect. The price element was only one part of the whole discussion about respect. I agree season tickets get raised, but individual tickets are crazy low. So your less fortunate fan base gets easier into the arena. Tell me where I'm wrong. It is a class thing. Demo, again, I don't know. This is what I don't understand though. Demo, they're not doing that because they want people to give people a chance to go to the games. They're doing it because that is all they could get for the tickets. Don't get confused. There's an algorithm and a pricing algorithm that bounces tickets up and down. It's a crazy, some sort of calculated formula where as tickets sell in certain areas, other tickets will go up with it. And then if they sit for a while, they go down. It's nothing more than them trying to maximize every dollar they could get. That's what it comes down to. The tickets are not cheaper because they want you to go to the game. They want your money for the tickets. Same. That would piss me off if they raised the price on season tickets in a losing season. Yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry for most people. Now you are judging the quality of the rock. If you don't like the product, then you don't buy it. Steve Bernier in the first line, even thinking about it still makes my eye twitch. It's not a respect thing. If they could collect 100,000 a ticket, that's what they'd sell them for. Correct. It's just simple economics. Whatever they could get, that's what they're charging. I have a Jack, Luke, Brat, and Rico rookie cards plus a Yager rookie card, not in those pictures. Nice. Where do you buy your cards, Zebra Games? I live by Toronto, and one regular season game there's 300 minimum. Yeah, that's a hockey hotbed right there. That's the difference between, an up-and-coming young fan base or a predominantly younger fan base, I would say, versus a original six market in Canada. That's the top of the top. The disrespect is the consumer doing it to themselves. Corporate is like a robot without feelings. Consumers still buy the tickets even though they raise the prices. They do it to themselves. Ace, we're saying the same thing with other terms. They are cheaper because if they weren't, the arena would be empty. They showing respect because they have to, but they do. Beezer always had great masks. Yes, he did. Some iconic masks from John Van Beesbrook. All right, guys. I'm gonna let me see. I'm wrapping this up here. I'll stay on here for another couple minutes. I love all the throwback conversations. A lot of people hate it, I'm sure. But I always like the random trips down memory lane with you guys when people start talking about, the old days. Man, I get slow at night. But if you haven't had a chance yet, they're probably not going to last too much longer. The heavier, edgier, more violent tee with the beautiful logo on the sleeve. This is on a Hanes beefy tee. None of those trash, paper thin garments. No. This is a Hanes beefy tee, screen printed in beautiful northern New Jersey. And I think there's a few hoodies left. I'll drop that as well. Don't forget, support the team, support the mission. All right, I'm taking one final leak, and we'll do closing thoughts and any other questions you guys throw out here. But some great trips down memory lane, some great conversations tonight. Appreciate you all for coming. As always, running to the bathroom one more time. This one's not going to be as quick. I drank a lot of iced coffee this morning, so this one might take me up to a minute. I'll be right back, and we'll do, any other questions and things you guys throw out there, and then we'll wrap it up. I'll be right back. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. I'll be right back.
Madden had a giant laceration down his left cheek, under his eye in the 03 playoffs. I think he got in the Ottawa series. Looked so hard. Guy was all guts. And that one I'm going to have to show because that is. I have a really cool piece related, a John Madden piece that's very I'm gonna show. Yeah, I gotta do more of the museum videos here. But for those that don't know, John Madden took a nasty stick in the face, and he had stitches. It was crazy. Why is this not working? Oh boy, this is not working. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I can't pull up the picture. I'm having a difficulty. Different browser, but there's a great picture. I'm gonna post it actually on the I'm gonna post it on the community tab after this video. John Madden with a black eye and nasty stitches in his face. An amazing warrior that man was. What a playoff. Don't know that it's respecting just business. Yeah, for sure. They're just getting what they can. This is what happens when we lose, Ace. We reminisce. I guess so. Iced coffee and Corona, not a good combo. Repainting. No, it's just the I have like a thermos, and it's like big, and I drink iced coffee every day. And it's a lot of liquids. And a black eye, yeah. Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me. It's super annoying. Yeah, this is pissing me off. I don't know why this is doing this. Hold on. Maybe if I do it this way. It's a nasty, nasty scar. I'm sure he has to still have it to some extent. I don't see how. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's annoying. I don't know. Yeah, it's super annoying. I'm gonna post it on the community page. Madden more advisor late in his career. Yeah, it was a little late though. In that 03 the 03 that 03 playoff and that cup final. Amazing. Chase, StreamYard will share from a different browser. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. It's giving me a different look on the Firefox versus the Chrome that I'm used to, and so it's a little bit annoying. It wasn't playing nicely. It wasn't playing nicely, but what are you going to do? But anyone have any closing thoughts? The Devil on a night that the Devils disappointing effort overall, clawed back from two different 2-goal deficits to salvage a point at home. And yeah, I mean, at least we got a point. I mean, and at least we didn't lay down and die. So they are showing some elements of a scrappy team that we did not see last year. You know, last season this team would have never gotten that point, and you'd love to see it. Oh, show it on your phone. That's a good point. That's a good. I just saw your comment. Have a good night, Demo. This doesn't do it justice. I'm still going to post it in the community tab. But yeah, no, it's too hard to see like this. But he has a black and yellow eye with a huge zipper. It was just crazy. Just crazy. Yeah, good night, Demo. Madden's assistant in Utah. Yeah, I saw him with his suit and tie on the bench for Utah when they came to New Jersey. Was All right. Anyone have anything else? Wrapping it up here. Wrapping it up. Yeah, at least we got a point, guys. We got a point. It was a kind of stolen point. Again, erasing 2 separate 2-goal deficits. And that's it. Appreciate everyone who ordered the shirt or the hoodie. They will ship on Monday. You will get tracking numbers. Hopefully this Devils team has a big bounce back game at home Tuesday against the Lightning in St. Paul. Good night to you. Thank you all, as always, for stopping by the live. I will be back again for the post-game live after Tuesday night's game. I'll have some videos between then and now. Ace going to put on the 03 Cup DVD and see Mad Dog and all of his glory to fall asleep. I often put that on. It's just, I love watching it. It never gets old. It never gets old. Select, good night, my friend. The sky is definitely not falling in St. Pollock. Chase, drop a like, everyone on the way out. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Please hit the thumb up. Give your boy a like on the way out. Louis, good night. Sorry for the little debate at the end. No, I always like interesting debates. Always like interesting debates. I thought that was a pretty good one. Different points of view. I see both sides. Yep, shipping out Monday, Maria. You'll get a tracking number emailed to you. You have a great night. I got 69 likes. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone in here liked it, though. You know what's better than 69 likes? 70. You know what's better than 70? 71. But that's it. I've been rambling on here forever. It's already 12:30. My God. Time flies when you're just BSing about the good old days and fighting about ticket prices and everything else we touched on tonight. What a time. Wish we had a win. It didn't happen. We'll be back soon. We'll be back soon. You guys are hilarious. Thank you all. I will talk to you all soon. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.